righty. All right, here we go. All right, welcome everyone. Happy afternoon. I'm Reilly, Hiemstra. Don't break your chair.
We didn't even start yet.
Yeah, we didn't start yet.
We're not that excited.
Exactly. I am the founder of Rockstar Blends. I create topical botanicals that are really good for you and are fabulous for intimate use. So please come see us downstairs in the main room. Without any further ado, I would love to introduce our panel. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves because I think that's the best way. Let me pass the mic right down to you here.
Hello, I'm Mariane.
And tell us a little bit about what you do and what your space is.
Oh, sure. Well, I am a retreat facilitator mainly. I just started like 3 years ago and it's been just escalating. But I'm mainly a yoga teacher. I also practice a lot of authentic relating workshops in my retreat and also in some monthly ones here in South Florida. So that's authentic relating has brought a lot of psychedelic use, how people are relating to that. I discover a lot of stuff during my retreats, like after the psychedelic experiences, how people got in deepening with themselves and each other, and now even the connection just became like this whole family. And yeah, so that's like my connection with this panel and what I do. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Dr. Angela from Bionic Bloom. Oh, Dr. Angela.
I'm Angela. I founded Bionic Bloom after a decades-long practice of sex and relationship therapy and began incorporating psychedelics about 5 years ago. The pandemic happened at a brilliant time in my career, so we utilized that space, and now there's a significant amount of science involved in what we are doing and why we are doing it, and I'm excited to be able to share some of that.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michelle. I am a trauma-informed psychedelic guide, and I'm the founder of Guided by Michelle. I help people transform deep trauma and really step into a life of peace by finding the connection and the support and changing their dynamics with safety and cultivating that internally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elise Morgan, and I am the founder of the Elise Morgan Experience. I'm basically a personal and spiritual growth expert. I'm a podcast host, can't even speak, podcast host, speaker, author, and integration coach, and I basically help people go from living miserable to living magical from the inside out. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. So I think that this conversation is one of the most important conversations that we could possibly have with ourselves. We live in a world where we are just so increasingly connected digitally and disconnected from ourselves and from our partners and really from something so much greater. Because when you experience a really deep connection with yourself, with your partner, you're able to find a strength and a peace that is unparalleled. And I think a lot of us understand this. I think a lot of us want this, and we're looking for ways that we can deepen the experience. So a lot of people are turning to cannabis and psychedelics. And I would love to have a discussion with you all about how you feel people are coming to this. How are they experiencing this? And what can we do to make it a more profound experience? What can we do to make it a safer experience? And what can we do to make it more accessible to everyone? Because this is out of a lot of people's wheelhouse, and it's sort of scary to sort of go blindly. It's not like the days of, let's just eat a handful of mushrooms and see what happens for the rest of the evening. I mean, we really want to set intention. So with that,
Sure,
go for it.
Hello. So I think for me, from my own experience, because I can only speak from my own experience, of course. And doing my retreats, it's called the Mystic Flow. I host in different parts, but in Guatemala, I host for the past 4 years. That's the only one that has medicine. And I don't host by myself. I host with a facilitator that helps me. I'm mostly like the creator of the experience. And I hold space, but I don't facilitate the whole experience on my own. And only being group settings. So for me, a safe space is community. And a space where there is, it's very remote. There's no we're in the middle of these mountains. So safety, that's a big one. Community. And also when people are having this experience, they get deep with themselves first. And then if the people around in their life are not doing the work, it starts kind of like disassociating from them. Not in a bad way, but speaking from my experience, I feel like that you just kind of start creating strong boundaries with old patterns. And then when you really face those triggers again, you're able to stop and really pay attention. That's where integration starts. It's in the action of my daily life. It's like that experience that I had in group setting, it was just the beginning of the real work that we have to do. So, but if the people, I think either we're growing apart or we're growing together with our relationships, and it can be for anything. Your friends, your spouse, your children, your work relationship, and then you just start having better discernment with how you're going in life and who should be in your life. Of course, for our work, and then there are certain people that you cannot avoid. You just really more on your body and really paying attention on how the relationship is affecting you. And that can really improve also, I think, your work ethic with how you're moving, and it is just alignment, And I think for me, that those are the intimacy, the relationship and the safety that this big experience can really bring to your life. But I think that our experiences, like the panel before, they're talking about people are having an experience in the medical setting and that can create fear, and I know, I don't want to have this. But also, if you're having an experience in the jungle with psychedelics, totally different. But also knowing that not a lot of people have access to that, right? They don't want to leave their safe space. But I think it's really important for people to pay attention to if they're going somewhere in the jungle, they can have a preparation. So during the retreats that I do, my friend Mariane, she's a psychedelic coach. She has a one-on-one call with everybody and asking their medical and when we can discern if those people can actually be in the container of the retreat. So set safety.
Thank you. Yeah. I think that safety is one of the biggest issues that we confront within ourselves. And I think Dr. Angela can definitely speak to this as well, because by facilitating these, can you all hear me if I speak without a mic? Right on. Then let's let go of the mics here. And
I'm actually,
yeah.
Can we turn it off? Does anybody?
Well, I want to make sure that the camera could also
Oh,
capture
yeah.
the audio.
Okay. Right on. Well, I definitely can speak loudly, so I will
Definitely
use my
can.
best New York voice, and this way we can all sort
Is
of
there
chat.
a mic
Do you guys
stand?
have
We
feedback
could-
in the back? Is it okay if we take down the mic, or would you still be able to hear us? If
we abandon
Passing
this.
the microphone is the issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Okay, there we go.
Understood.
So let's
Thank you.
keep passing it. So
Okay.
Dr. Ann, yeah.
You wanna-
Yeah, well, I think that that it is interesting that people are seeking altered states. I think we all understand why we are trying to connect more. How can we use cannabis and psychedelics? I can speak to the endocannabinoid system, but when it comes to psychedelics, I know nothing about it. I find this fascinating. This is why I'm so excited always to be on this panel, because I come away understanding ways that I can deepen my intimacy with myself, with my connection with myself. And I think that Marie said something so important, and that is it really does start with yourself. So if you're using psychedelics and you're using cannabis, and you can just maybe try it first by yourself and experience it for yourself and see who you really are, I think there's a lot of power in that. But I'm not a doctor.
I think that's a great point, actually. How do you define intimacy? How do you learn how to define intimacy? Who has good sex ed? Where do you go to get your sex education? I wish I brought, this is going to be the most ridiculous statement I've ever said. I wish I brought my clitoris with me. I have a 3D printed clitoris that nobody can identify. And this is a great opportunity to have it. The point I'm trying to make is, where do we learn?
Ourselves.
How do you know? We're making it up, right?
Where's my daughter? My daughter right here. She'd be like, I've had all the sex I
Heather
need.
touched on intimacy as a thing that you do internally first, but doesn't that also mean the education? We should be using our mirrors. We should be exploring with ourselves before we're exploring with anybody else. But where do you learn that? So the safety, we are unfortunately dealing with a safety issue that can't even be defined because every single person that we engage with doesn't have an education.
And there's so much shame around it. It's just tragic, really.
So I think that the issue of safety is super important. I think that we need to define intimacy. I think we need to understand and explore what that is. And I'm going to pass the microphone over because I think you hit on a particular topic of safety and connection that is the crux of this panel and also answers that question.
Thank you. And I even caught something, I'm sorry, can you?
Heather.
When you said, how do we have intimacy with our partners? But that starts with ourselves. So the first question is, how do I connect with someone else? And that's the problem. That's the issue. There is no connection with ourselves and prioritizing that safety with ourselves, right? And so how do we incorporate safety in these environments is knowing that it's actually a process, right? Mari touched on this. You don't wake up one day and say, I'm gonna do psychedelics. It's, oh, what is ayahuasca? What is mushrooms? What psilocybin? How do you say that? How do you spell it, right? So you just get these whispers and these nudges internally that says, there's something greater inside of you that you haven't touched yet. And you start educating yourself on what does a safe environment feels for me. And sometimes that is a clinical setting. And sometimes that is a retreat setting. And sometimes that's a one-on-one session because let's be real, we carry a lot of guilt, judgment, shame, and how am I going to feel in a group environment with people I don't even know? They're gonna see me and all the not good that I am. Sometimes it's safer to be in that one-on-one session with someone to really understand, where am I at in my life right now? Okay, so there's like this intake process. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a group session with community? Let's say you have a big family. Maybe that feels safe for you. Beautiful. But what if you don't have that? And I think as a society, as a culture, we are immersed with trauma and we don't talk about it enough. And like my energy, like I'm shaking. I'm like, oh, because we are carrying so much hurt and pain and we haven't admitted it to ourselves yet. And that's the first step in cultivating safety, as speaking our truth, saying what's going on. I mean, I think we hear in work environments, leave your stuff at the door. What about humanness? What about, man, I'm going through a hard time. I should be able to freely go to my boss and say, I need PTO, I'm not well, but that's shamed upon. So how do we, I think the question is, how do we culturally shift these dynamics? And that's by being honest with ourselves and allowing everyone to see it, see what truth actually is. I'll pass the mic.
Thank you.
Well, a lot of stuff to touch on here, but first I'll answer your question and what is driving people to psychedelics and cannabis and alternate methods of finding yourself, if you will. And I think it comes for a lot, in my experience, out of desperation. People are they're getting to where they just are so desperate to be happy, if you will. And for me, no matter what modality you decide, that happiness has to come from within. And with the intimacy and being safe and that topic, it's the same thing. You have to be comfortable with you and your own skin and your own confidence and all your shadows, and deal with you 100%, be comfortable within with you. Almost 100%, it's a daily thing, before you can literally be free and open with someone else. And then that other person has to be respectful and honor who you are 100%. And because we carry around traumas and hurts and all our baggage from behind, a lot of humans hook up with other humans that their trauma is meeting your trauma, and you're just one big toxic, unhealthy relationship. And that's what we think what love is, right? Love hurts and all those things. So I think it all comes down to literally going within, first and foremost. And I think the reason why psychedelics and cannabis help is because it kind of breaks that door down for you faster than it would be maybe if you went on your own. Especially, my husband makes fun of the way I say especially. Say it with an X. Especially if you were going down the regular road of society with all the antidepressants, and you go into a doctor and they don't ask you anything about what's going on in your life, your family history, anything. Here, just take this pill. And they were created to help people maybe regulate their nervous systems for a very short time so that they can be open to get healing. And as you know, in society, everyone is on those drugs, which is fascinating to me that people have so much fear with cannabis and psychedelics. And if you take a step back and really say, like, why do I have this fear? It's because you're indoctrinated into that fear and you're not educating yourself. So I'm big on, don't take things for, what's this expression?
Face value.
Face value, there you go. Don't think so, like, educate yourself. If you're fearful of it, but you're interested in it, I'll look into it. So with psychedelic, especially for me, because that's more where I've had my personal experience, it just helps you break that door down to, like, wow, I'm willing to go within. I'm willing to face trauma, history, and face myself and what I don't like about myself and what I love about myself. And in order to be intimate with someone else, you have to learn to be intimate with yourself. And we can go down the whole path of religion, how that stops people from exploring themselves. I mean, it's a whole controlling, brainwashing thing that I think once you get to the point where you're willing to open up and be aware of other things, then that's when the magic happens. So,
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Elise just brings me right into what I wanted to talk about next, and that is cannabis and psychedelics show up very differently. And it's difficult if you are looking to set intention. It's difficult to figure out how to start, where to start, what to turn to. Would anybody like to speak about the differences between cannabis and psychedelics? Because they're super different, and they affect your body and your brain super differently. Like, that sounds very professional, but this is...
I actually think that question goes a little bit deeper than just cannabis and psychedelics. Each one of the plant medicines has a different pathway,
Right,
and
course.
it does something different in our brains. So the chemistry is different. The way that it affects each one of us internally and externally is different. The way that it affects our environments is different. And where the medicine is curated from, I think also matters. So I've been very picky about the geography of the medications that we use, in addition to how a particular plant medicine might affect different hormone pathways or different brain chemistries. And I do a lot of work with different brain chemistries, and I think all of that matters. So first question is breaking it down even more than just cannabis and psychedelics. If we consider cannabis a psychedelic, and 50% of the world does, 50% of the world is still up in arms. But if we consider that all psychedelics, then each one of the plant medicines has a different category and a different setting and a different intention. And I think that is a conversation that needs to happen with your trained facilitator, with your physician, with your psychologist, with your partner. That internal work that we're doing in the self-intimacy, you need to have that self-exploration. I'm gonna say this because I say it way too often, maybe not enough. First, curiosity, internally and externally, coupled with kindness. So we're building relationships both internally and externally with ourselves, with our partners, and with the medicine.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I think that people have a hard time figuring out where to start. And I know that I've encountered so many people already here at Cannadelic and other Cannadelics who are offering platforms. People like Dr. Angela's practice. There are different platforms online where you can go and talk to people and sort of figure out, hey, I would like to start microdosing, or I would like to start with any plant medicine. You find a specialist in that area and you get some guidance. I know that I will be definitely, we have a podcast, Gen X Hits Menopause, and I will definitely be linking people I've met here that offer that kind of a service, because I know that I have blindly looked in the past saying, gosh, I don't even know where to start. What do I do? I would like to come to understand myself a little bit better or get closer to myself. Is there anything that you all would like to share with everybody who is curious about a place to start? Just, okay, I want to try this. I would like to alter my state. I'm angry a lot. A lot of us are angry a lot right now, okay? So if you're angry a lot right now, I think a lot of us, I personally can speak for myself, I'm looking for ways that I can rewire what's going on up in here so I can stay my happy, shiny self and not burn it all to the ground. So where do we start? Where do we look?
And do you mind if
No,
going
go for it.
backwards a
No,
little
I'm
bit?
passing the mic.
Angela said something that was spot on. Cannabis, psychedelics, right? There are all these different kinds of medicines. So psychedelics, that's like an umbrella, that's like SSRIs. So it's very broad. But just to shine light on cannabis, because it is recreational, it's medical here in Florida, but what does that look like? So there's a lot of people who experiment or self-medicate themselves. And it's really important that we start connecting what's happening when we're even smoking cannabis. It's like Santa Maria medicine, right? So some of the symptoms are, oh, I'm binge eating, right? I'm gonna go in the cabinet, I'm eating. Look at how the medicine is actually advocating for your body that you're not having enough nourishment. Oh, we missed that. We're like, oh no, it's just the munchies. No, you're not eating enough protein. You're not taking in enough greens. But we're missing that completely and no one's educating us. What if we're super tired? Oh yeah, smoke weed and we go to bed. Wow, your body is exhausted. When do we start listening to the medicine and seeing that these are actually signs about where our body is at right now? That's the beauty of the intimacy with these secret plant medicines and when we indulge in them. So, sorry, I just felt like I had to say that.
So,
Sorry.
building a relationship, we're talking about building intimacy. I talk a lot about building a relationship with your medicine too, and that's it, exactly. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that was great.
I don't know about the binging. I think you just get the munchies. I don't know about that. I wanted to touch on the self-medication, because if you take that step back, and let's say you're ready to use cannabis or any of the medicines to help you, that you have to have the awareness of, I want to elevate who I am as a human being, who I am as a person, not I want to get away. So there's a different, we know in society that most people, in my experience, people smoke to escape or to relax. So you're not doing any intentions, you're not doing any elevating during that type of smoking. Or even sometimes people take mushrooms and they're not doing intentions, it's like to party or whatever. And obviously if you've done ayahuasca, there's no partying in that at all. But I think the first step to all of this is to have that want to be a better elevated human, and know that it takes work, and to use the medicine in conjunction with speaking to a coach or someone like me. You don't just say like, oh, I want to elevate, I'm going to start smoking weed every day and I'll feel better, because that's just self-medicating. So you want to learn what works for you, like you guys said, like everyone has a different chemical makeup in their body. Something that works for me may not work for you. I'm not a big cannabis, I have a lot of knowledge, but I know there's a lot of different out there now that will help with healing your body and help with this, and there's so many things. So it's trial and error. It's not about like fuck my life, I'm just gonna smoke or drink tonight. This is a completely different realm. I hope you can curse, because I just did. So I just think it goes hand in hand in wanting to elevate yourself as a human and not escape yourself. So.
So the question was, how do you find someone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you get started? So besides the calling, right? We do feel the calling, like mother, yeah, right? We're like, oh, what is this? But guess what? We have this thing where we could make our own judgments and decipher what feels good. The power of discernment. And as soon as you start making that decision, you'll see like in your field, people are like showing up. Now on your Instagram feed, there's this retreat coming up. You're like, whoa, I was just talking about it. And now I'm gonna bring the spiritual aspect. As soon as we set the intention and we say yes internally, everything opens up for us. And the right guide, the right facilitator, the right space for you, you'll find it. It'll just fall right in your lap. And that's alignment. That's when you know. But safety is important. Vet your facilitators, right? What are things that I wish I knew? What's your intake process like? Are you worried about my weight, my family? We're forgetting about ancestors and generational trauma that lives within us that we've never even acknowledged because we're ashamed of our trauma. We're ashamed of our truth. So we need to understand that we're psychosocial biohumans and incorporate all of that in our vetting process. So where did you study? How do you keep me safe? If I have an adverse reaction, what would happen, right? Because it's not all love and light. Let's just be honest. We're not just sitting on the mat and everything's fine. Sometimes we want to get up and we're raging and we take the tiki torch and break it over our leg because we're so angry. Do you know how to handle me in that container, and what would you do? That's the question. How do you ground me back? Because we're all operating, I'm not gonna say all, many of us are operating in a trauma response and we don't even know it. Are you scrolling on your phone constantly? Are you looking for distractions? Can you sit and meditate? And if the answer is no, why? Why are we avoiding ourselves? So these are things that I think you could ask your facilitator. Medical, right? What does that look like? And integration. How are you going to help me with my integration process? There's too many facilitators who say, let's go on this journey. Bye, because it's transactional. But it shouldn't be that way. It's communal. When we learn how to heal in a community, this culture will change. So.
Hi. So the question was where you can find how to start. So when I have a lot of friends and being in the space for a little while now, when people ask me, I always ask them, what's your intention, right? And because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do this because I going through this trauma, and then go back to finding the roots, finding what's really underneath. But for me, in the personal experience, when you already have experience, like different ceremonies, when my thing for me really works, because all my ayahuasca ceremonies I have not planned, it kind of like showed up in my lap, like in my world. I always travel a lot, so I'm in spaces that all those medicines are being offered more constantly, because it's a place where a bunch of different retreats are going. And every time I have the experience, it's always intuition, right? And I always try to connect people with the intuition and do a research on their own for whatever it's better for them in a retreat setting or in a medical setting. And always being aware also of integration, like I said before in the beginning. It's like, it's not just going to retreat, it's like, how are you making aligned actions on your life on a daily basis as well?
Thank you. I know we only have a few minutes left. I did want to touch on one thing, and that's my wheelhouse, and that's the endocannabinoid system. I loved what Marielle said about when we call it, Michelle, sorry. When we say we got the munchies, that's the endocannabinoid system kicking in. And I love the endocannabinoid system because it's a system of balance, and it's a system that controls your libido. And it's the system that controls everything that's going on everywhere in your body. So yes, the munchies, but it might just be that your body needs nourishment.
you get really tired, chances are your body needs to sleep, right? I mean, we can really be intentional with cannabis. We can learn about terpenes, we can learn about how our bodies respond, and we can really learn how to go inward and listen. Because what I need is not what you need or what you need. We are all so unique, and we are all so different, and our experiences with intimacy are also different. So that is why experiences like Cannadelic are so amazing, because you have people who really want to embrace plant medicine and find ways to deepen connection so that we can feel better and do better.
I think community is really important, but what happens when we are free to show them community, right? So again, that's not considering someone's lived experience that says it is not safe to be intimate, right? You touched on something earlier that certificate of the belief love is key. So that's not considering where everyone made the act. So yeah, I think the best medicine that I've ever immersed myself was community. But unfortunately, I had to get out of my own way, get out of my own head, and that's what fitness did. And then I was able to enjoy like this blissfulness. This is what the community could provide for me. I need to know that it was safe first. Thank you.
Also, to answer your question, when you vibrate with yourself so high and you just are comfortable, you're getting up that vibration and you're with the community, that's when you attract the community that is good for you. So it starts from within, and then as humans, of course, I need community, but if you're not centered, grounded, and happy from within, you may go into a community that is not good for you. So it's really about knowing and loving yourself first, and then finding the community that's right for you. So it always starts within. Go bounce.
I just want to bring up a point. I hear a lot of permanence in our answers, and who we show up as today, right here, right now, and who our community is right here, right now. It's going to be different tomorrow, and it'll be different in a month. And acceptance of that, I think, is part of the trauma-informed. So today, I thank you for being part of our community. I can't guarantee tomorrow we're all going to be in the same room, and that's okay too.
Right on that, yeah. Just by, I think, start shading layers, right? And the more you peel it out and then come into the center, like you have new experiences. And also, like, as I travel much, like, we really changes all the time. And it's really nice to see that even though in different places, people are going through the same experiences as you. And then that's where community comes and then you can relate to each other. Even if you tell that is a different gender, different, you speak a different language, but then when you use the psychedelics, like, oh, we have that in common, you know, they grew up in different, we all go through this town, so for me, relating to each other in a way is really important.
Thank you all so much for coming. I know the topic was great in the hall, so if you have more questions, if you want to continue this conversation, please come by us downstairs. I could talk about sex, cash, so whatever.